What's going on, Oilers fans? This week in Oilers history, we're gonna talk about Bill Guerin and the Gordie Howe Hattrick. First off, what is a Gordie Howe Hattrick? What even is that? I thought it was a regular hat trick, 3 goals. No. Gordie Howe was a special player. I regrettably did not get to watch him. But a Gordie Howe Hattrick is when you get a goal, an assist, and a fight. Like, that's a special player. A Gordie Howe, just from the way that people speak about him, was just this absolute, just man of a hockey player. You know what I mean? Someone will score a goal, give an apple, and then punch you in the face. And that's what a Gordie Howe Hattrick is. Now, how does this relate to the Oilers? Bill Guerin played for the Oilers in 1997. He was traded from the New Jersey Devils to the Edmonton Oilers mid-season. Bill Guerin stayed with us until the middle of the 2001 season, where he was traded to Boston. Now, when I speak of Bill Guerin, he sounds like a Gordie Howe in spirit. Of course, no one can match Gordie Howe, but in spirit, right? That just rough, manly man of a player, aka a power forward. Bill Guerin was big. Yeah, he was 6'2", 220, at least is what Hockey Reference says. And when I remember watching him as a child, he was just this big, rugged man who would just get you a goal, and the Oilers didn't always have a lot of those players through my career of watching the Oilers. But he did fit that perfect bill of that early 2000s Oiler essence. But getting a Gordie Howe Hattrick is pretty rare. It doesn't happen very often. I think you only hear about it maybe once, maybe twice a season, if that. And on February 18th, Bill Guerin got a Gordie Howe Hattrick against the Calgary Flames. A 4-2 loss against the Calgary Flames. Now, I just love the idea of a Gordie Howe Hattrick. I like the essence of a Gordie Howe Hattrick. Doesn't really seem like it's very common nowadays in the modern NHL, especially in how skilled the NHL has gotten. You're not gonna necessarily see someone who puts up a whole bunch of points also get in a fight, unless it's the very first 9 minutes of the Four Nations, Canada versus USA game. I think of these kinds of players who the Edmonton Oilers have had through the years. Maybe someone like a Dustin Penner, you know? If George Laraque maybe got a goal that day. If you think of anyone else, please put it down in the comments, because Dustin Penner is someone who maybe comes to mind. Chris Pronger, sorry everybody, Chris Pronger comes to mind as well. And it made me think of our roster now and who is most likely to get a Gordie Howe Hattrick. The first name that comes to mind is Evander Kane. When he's healthy, he'll get into a fight, he'll score a goal, he can get an assist. That sounds like Evander Kane in a nutshell. That sounds awesome. And it sounds like something that we need heading into this year's playoffs. Nuge is eligible to get a Gordie Howe Hattrick. He's fought, what, twice? 3 times in his career? I'm not ruling out Nuge for a Gordie Howe Hattrick. The only other person I can maybe think on the team is maybe Darnell Nurse, right? But he's not necessarily putting up a whole bunch of goals every single year, but he is also eligible. If I'm missing anyone else who is on the current Edmonton Oilers roster who you think would get a Gordie Howe Hattrick, put that down in the comments down below too. Bill Guerin in the early 2000s Oilers. There's just something about that gritty team that we really haven't seen since then. Maybe we can bring some of that back for this year's playoffs, especially if we see Matthew Tkachuk again. Thanks for joining me on This Week in Oilers History. See you again soon.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.